Let's see what we got. Let's go to, do we have any bears coming in? Doesn't seem like we do as of yet. Maybe we'll get some. Let's go to, oh hey, morning mama. Mod me too. I didn't realize I hadn't yet. Doing it on my phone again. Computer issues. Morning Steve. There you go. Hey, hashtag wrench life. I'm hashtag troll pinder with the shirt today. I realized yesterday when I saw some of Steve's live stream that I had that same shirt, so I thought I'd go ahead and grab mine just for the heck of it, because to imitate is to appreciate. That's my twisted take on the Cultural Appropriation Month from Crowder's show. Let's see here. I'm trying to see. Ooh, hey, I can watch my live stream. I better turn the volume down. Let's see. I'm doing this on the phone again. What state are you in? Illinois. That's where I'm at. Let's see. I'm going to be able to look at the chat from over here, which is awesome. Pender appropriation. That's so great. So, oh, dude, you rock, man. That's excellent. You guys are super cool. Hey, you know what? The channel's growing. I'm really loving seeing it. We've got nearly 1,000, probably by now, since y'all chimed in, we have pretty darn near 1,000 watch minutes. And we're up to 23 subscribers. And this is my 4th live stream. It hasn't even been a week's worth. I've had 2 extra little videos. That's it. And you guys have been great. Really great. It's been so much fun coming out here, hanging out with all you, and just sharing some thoughts and ideas, hopefully encouraging you in your day-to-day life, and giving you things to think about that maybe you hadn't normally, and learning so much from you guys, which I love. I think in the coming weeks here, my intention is to get out and go to other locations. You grew 173 in 5 weeks. That's the whole point. That's exactly what Owen was intending, right? For us to unite, to get together and encourage each other, build each other up. And we're doing that. We're definitely doing that. So thanks so much. Hey, Stampy Bear, guess what? You're not modded. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to mod you. Now, you are a wrenchified bear. Now, I'm going to make a disclaimer right now, because I feel it's probably wise. If the mod thing, if this grows to some great, huge, wonderful deal, and there becomes a mod, oh, Coder, you need one. Coder doesn't have one yet. Yeah. Well, and I'm getting to that. If this becomes insane, right? If there is ridiculous stuff, there will be wrenching here as well. I just want people to know that, right? Nobody will be safe. And y'all that have channels as well, you should reserve that right for yourselves. That should be completely appropriate. No one will be safe, Dom. No, I was just showing my wife the wrenching last night. She hadn't seen that yet, and she thought that was pretty flippin' hilarious. Yeah, I hope and pray that never becomes a thing, and so that's why I cover it now. I say let's maintain a recognition that the right to be a moderator is not at all that on any of our channels. Any one of us that have channels have the awesome privilege and responsibility to, shall we say, trim the verge, if we so desire, if it becomes a necessity, to make our live stream experience the best for all that it can be. At any rate, enough of that business. Makes an example of Tom. Oh, I love you guys. Hey, Deadpool, let me square you away there. Aha. Welcome to the modding. Yes. This is my very bad Antonio Banderas. Oh. No, I used to be able to do the Spanish thing. I have to tell you, I play a guitar player on television. That's it. That's all I do. This is my breed love that I got from my good friend Scott. I'm very thankful for this instrument. It's very, I would say, upper intermediate, good consistent tone. Oh, there's somebody else here, and they moved. There you go. Gotcha. I almost couldn't mod you. Now, yeah, I just see a bunch of blue. I see mods of blue. Where would the code be? I'm trying to... Yeah, I was C sharp minor. I see mods of blue. No, that's not quite right. Oh, it'd be B. Well, I should know my theory. Yeah, 1 to 5, and then 6 and 4. I see mountains of blue. No, it still doesn't sound right. I'd have to work the theory out on that one. And clouds of white. Your two backgrounds of white. We gotta get Nimmer in here, then they're not all white, right? Dun 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 dun. Great whites. Such a good tune. That was so funny, man. So it's great to have you all here this morning. Nah, you're good, Mama Bear. Today, I'm farming out topic creation or generation to you guys. What do you want to talk about? What a wonderful stream. I have not seen the War in Southern documentary. I would probably need to see that one. If somebody's got a link, put it up. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. Farmlands. Farmlands. I need a little tuning on here. Thank you, Kikia. That's perfect. Let's see. Tuning guitars is important. It's got to come down a little bit. It's pretty good. I was in the wrong spot. It's a little high. Still high. Anybody recognize that song? If I play the right notes. It's embarrassing how bad I play this guitar. I was trying to play the bass line and the little intro bit from Spirit of the Radio by one of my favorite groups of all time, Rush. A little E7 chord there. So let's see here. Animals. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I got a little behind there. Yeah, Rush. Yeah, you know it. That's what's up. His mind is not for rent. When he got a government. Should be how do they play that chord? There we go. We'll see. So yeah, I grew up on Rush. I was raised on Rush. I love that stuff. Especially the old stuff. Yeah, the Trees I'm not good at playing. I never got that one down. I play basic chords and melodies on the guitar occasionally, and I know how to teach the principles of music theory from the guitar. I could actually sit here and teach all of you. I'm confident that I could get the concept to all of you. Maybe we'll do that as a separate video or live stream one day. The fundamental 15, and then 5 more, major scales that we use in Western music. There are, some would say 12, but there are technically 15 different major scales that we use in Western music. There are some would say 12 because there are actually 12 sets of notes of differing pitches that we use, but 3 of those are what we call enharmonic, or they have 2 different names. The scales have the same notes, but each note is called a different name between scales. An example of that, everybody has probably heard of the simple C major scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And it follows a particular pattern, right? If you'll notice my fingers, you start with a C, right? I'm on, what we go, yeah, Tom Sawyer, I'm sorry, I didn't see you asking that, my bad. I was playing Tom Sawyer earlier, I thought I said it, my bad. So, I'm on the 3rd fret, that's these little guys, these spaces here where I touch. I'm at the 3rd fret, right, on string number 5, the 2nd thickest string. So they number them from smallest to thickest, 1 to 6. 6, the biggest one's usually closest to you. So I'm on string 5, fret number 3, and that's your C, right? But I really should be doing that with the middle finger if I do it properly, right? And then I'll reach down with my pinky and skip a fret, right? And then, let's see here. Well, I miss things often, Mama Bear, so don't feel bad. And then I'm gonna come up here to string 4 and fret 2 with my pointer finger. There's your E, right? If I stayed on the string 5 and just did this, you could see it, right? I start with the C, and then I'll skip down to the D, and I'll skip another fret and go to the E. Then I take what's called a half step. Those were whole steps before where I skipped a fret. Now I'm gonna take a half step, and I can get the F, would be the next note in the scale, and then I'm gonna drop my fingers down and continue this. I'm gonna go from the F to the G, another whole step. Another whole step, skip 1 to go to the A, skip 1 to go to the B, and then a half step, and now we're at the C, right? We've come up a full octave, or a full 8 pitches, right? Right? But instead of going all the way down the neck to do that, or up the neck to do that, yeah, I'm gonna do that, man. Definitely gonna do that. But this is simple stuff that you can find anywhere on the net. I'm not new for showing this. Um, this is an easy thing. Just showing the basic major scale pattern. This is going to happen. I need to get these lessons put out. And in fact, Coder Bear, maybe you and Dom, I might ask later on in Hangout or something like that, if you guys can get a hold of me personally. And Steve, I need to get a hold of you personally too, because I need some info from you, man. But Coder and Dom and whoever else has got like knowledge about how to do this. My computer has been giving me so much trouble trying to get live streams like scheduled and set right. There's a lot of little details that I'm having trouble doing right, or getting the encryption software set. I'm just doing whatever simple thing worked, you know, and it works to do it on my phone right now, but none of my webcam that's built in doesn't work, all this jazz. So I'm gonna get some technical info from you guys and figure out how to make the live streams better, more predictable, more interesting. It's the easier it is. Hey Bisky, you don't have a mod. I just noticed that. Let me fix that. Look at that. Bango. Like that, you are suddenly a blue bear. At any rate, oh, Youngblood, you also are a blue bear. You're now. Welcome to mod life, wrench life. Glad to. Oh. See, I can hear little tiny things that tell me it's out of tune. Yeah, that string there was out of tune. That's better. Yeah, there we go. There's a lot of people who say you should be using a tuner when you tune, and I agree. A tuner is a very important tool, but you should also be developing your ear to be able to tell the difference when strings are in tune with each other and when they're not. And the more that you do that, the more developed your ear is to sensitive, subtle differences. I don't know if anybody's heard about this recently. There's been scientific studies in the last several years done on how many different shades of color our eyes can differentiate between. I mean, it's massive. It's amazing how specific our eyes can get in terms of differentiating variations of color. It's incredible. And our ears are extremely capable as well, at least in the way that they're connected to our brain. See, perfect pitch, that's the thing, man. Yeah, a lot of people out there don't understand how to develop that. Yeah. A lot of it comes from things they're exposed to when they're in their infancy. That can really help a lot of that. But yeah, the ear, that's my suggestion there. Yanni or Laurel. I'm not familiar with Laurel. I'm familiar with Yanni. Not that I often listen. But he did have a very talented drummer working for him that I followed for many years. And now I can't remember the guy's name. I used to see his picture in some of his cool drum kits and stuff in Modern Drummer magazine. Man, you guys are quick. I was sure I wanted to learn guitar on my dad's old 4-string he left me, but then I realized it got left behind after a move years ago. I never saw it again. That's unfortunate, Bisky. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope maybe one day you can pick yourself up a nice free glove or some other sim. Yamahas are really good. I was talking to, I think, Killswitch or somebody about a good guitar, you know, and Yamahas are definitely worthwhile. Can't go wrong with even the student models of those. It was a social experiment to quantify perception for better programming of the simulation conspiracy theory. I don't know about that. I guess I'm gonna have to learn. Man, you guys teach me all kinds of stuff. Huh. So at any rate, let's get back to this major scale pattern real quick. Let me finish that up because I hate leaving things undone. So we were at C, D, E, we were going down the scale, but I did that all the way down the string. I'm going to show you that same pattern, just moving this way, moving vertically as opposed to horizontally. And it gets a little easier on your fingers because you don't have to try and reach all the way down here. It just makes more sense. So, scale pattern like this: C, D, right? You can see my C is with my middle finger, and then the D, I reach over here, it's at 4th fret on string 5, reach over the 5th fret on string 5. I would use my pinky. Then with my pointer, I come up to fret 2 of string 4, fret 3 of string 4, fret 5 of string 4, and that was pointer, middle, pinky, right? And then pointer, ring, and pinky on string 3. So one more time. String 5, fret 3, middle, pinky, then string 4, fret 2, pointer, middle, there's a skip of a fret, pinky, right? And then string 3, pointer, ring, pinky, and you get your C major scale. Now what's cool about that is that works with any major scale, right? I could come up and start on C sharp, fret 4, right? And I just use the same amount of spacing, right? I'll go. Getting speed on it, which I don't really have. That's still pretty darn slow. There's guys that go, and they go up 2 octaves and come down. That's mind-blowing. Well, minor scales are useful, but I always say start with the major scale because any minor thing, all you have to do with that is one little change or change of really maybe 2 or 3 notes, right? I say learn your major scales, and then from there, Coda writes to want some sad songs. From knowing your major scale pattern, all you have to do is make alterations off of it. Then you're only learning one pattern, right? The rest will come. You'll start seeing other patterns, right? They'll just pop out at you. But I say for beginners, for people that are getting into it, for people that don't have musical background, or even if you do, understanding this stuff by knowing the major scale pattern. And it's just as simple as going, this is how we break it down in terms of whole steps and half steps, right? So C was our starting or root note. Then we go up a whole step to D, up another whole step to E, then a half step to F, right? Well, I figure you probably do. You're a smart guy, Coder. This is just for anybody who might not have heard it. Then another whole step up to G, right? So far we've done root note, whole step, half step, right? And then another whole step to G, whole step to A, whole step to B, and we finish it off with a half step. So it's root note, whole, half, whole, half, right? That same pattern works if I go up to C sharp. C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, C sharp, right? It's the same scale, it's just everything is now half step higher, so it's sharp. But it's the same pattern. Root note is C sharp, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, right? And you got that. Come up to D. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. Root note, whole step, half step, whole step, half step. It's that simple. Every scale you want to do, it works. Now, what we traditionally do in Western music, because these are the scales that get most commonly used, anything is possible, not everything is probable or useful, right? What we tend to do is use C, C sharp, D flat. Now, this is the thing. That C sharp scale I showed you, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, C sharp. Now, the D flat major scale, same notes, different name. D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat, C, D flat, right? Why am I deciding the flats and the sharps? There's a little rule called the alphabet rule. Oh, yeah, I was about to mod you, and you're already modded, Fred. Trumpet and drums, dude, both are great instruments. C sharp. cracking me up. Is that how pirates enumerate the scale? C sharp. I wasn't sure what you were going for there. Makes it. Well, I'm glad. Rewatch this. Take another look at it sometime if you're interested. If you're not, that's also cool. Sax and drums for Coder Bear, see? And I got to do both of those as well as trumpet. It was a bunch of fun. All these different instruments, they're a blast. You know, play around with this kind of thing. If you have a guitar, it works on piano, it works on any instrument. This whole set of patterns, right? So let me get this C sharp D flat thing. This what they call the enharmonic equivalence. Same scale or same notes, different scale naming, right? So we were at C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, C sharp. I just said it real fast because I want to get moving on it. D flat, same note, but we're gonna call it D flat in this case. E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat, C, D flat. The reason that we choose either flat or sharp or however that works out is because we have two rules, the two alphabet rules. No doubling letters and no skipping letters, right? So if I come here and I've got D flat, right? And then I'm gonna come up to E flat, right? That's the next letter in sequence, right? What about this next note? Why wouldn't I call that F flat or something? Well, because this ends up being a whole step above E flat, right? And a whole step above E flat is not gonna be an F flat or an F sharp. It's gonna be the F natural note, right? But a half step above F natural is going to be like, if you imagine a piano, right? It's going to be one of the black keys, right? Why it's got to be black? That's just what they are, right? Some people might have a piano where they're red, you know, that's happened, but traditionally it's one of the black keys in this case. So I'm going up a half step from the F natural, right? The next, I am a racist, it's clear, it's obvious. The next note in sequence has to be the next letter in alphabetical order, right? And until we get to G, then the next letter has to go back to A, right? That's the cycle, A through G. It's like hooked on phonics, 1-800-A-B-C-D-E-F-G. I don't even think that number works anymore because I don't think they're in business. But it's just those 7, that's all we use, right? So when you get to a G, the next letter has to be an A in sequence. That's how we create scales. We have to maintain alphabet order. So no doubling letters, but also no skipping letters, right? So I couldn't go, how would I say? I wouldn't go D flat, E flat, F, or I would say E flat, F, F sharp. I wouldn't call that note F sharp because I've already got an F, right? So the next note I need is a G. And this is not G natural, the next note. It's got to be a half step below the G natural is the way that works. So I would call that G flat. Flat means a half step below the natural note. Sharp is a half step above the natural note, right? So like when you're doing what my ear training teacher in college, Professor Stout, used to call this, he would say C major is God's key. It has no sharps or no flats. That's how he used to define that. And he was just teasing it. It's useful to work on everything from that point of view. Because if you learn the C major scale first, you know all the natural notes. Then deviations from that are more easily recognized and easily determined, right? When you have a clear set forward standard, right, that's as simplistic as you can make it, when you deviate from that, then you're able to determine when you deviate from that. If you don't know where you start from, you're gonna not know where you're going, right? I'll let you extrapolate that to life in any ways you want to, but there are always interesting life lessons tied up in learning music, and that's one of them. You start with a firm foundation, right? A defined foundation that fits a certain norm, right? When you see deviations from that norm, it's a little easier to identify them and classify them, right? So if I'm going up to play D flat major, right? Now I can know, okay, so D flat, that's not D natural, that would be here. This is a half step below D natural. There's a B over here, and I don't care for him to be here. But I do like B's, I think they're important. Just not on me. Let's see. I'm a bear. I want my honey. I don't want to be. He is not flat. He is still alive because I have allowed him to live. I didn't take away his wrench yet, but it could happen. We've got the D flat, right? Which is not the D natural because that was here, right? It's a half pitch below, or half step below the D natural. So this has to be D squish flat, right? And then the next one is E flat because it's a half step below the E natural that we had earlier. Remember? There's the E natural, there's the E flat. And so that means the next note, that's going to be that F natural. If you remember the C major scale. There's your F natural, right? C major scale, F natural. But now we're in D flat major. That's the same note, right? So the next note after it is not going to be an F sharp, right? It's going to be a G flat because we need to go to the next letter in sequence. So I'm just sort of hitting that point home. This is how you build a major scale, right? D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat, C, D flat. And why do we have that C there? That's that C natural. That was that C we had in the C major scale. And when we hit it again, excuse me, when we go to the D major scale, this is going to be kind of a neat thing to see here. It's a half step above, right? Now, all the notes that were flat, they're now going to be natural, and the notes that were natural, they're now going to be sharp, right? Because we're just going up a half step. It's the same naming of notes. It's a little different here. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, right? It's a pattern. It's just recognizing a pattern really rapidly and continuing to recognize those patterns. Now, if I want to start making minor scales or chords of different types out of that, all I got to do is adjust certain elements of that with one. Hang on, my computer's dying, but that doesn't bother me because we're not using the computer today. But I am going to close it so it doesn't distract me. Let's doing that. There we go. And my train of thought just took off. The train's headed for Hogwarts, and it said Vada Kedavra to my train of thought. That was nerdy, but I don't care. When you are doing music, you're trying to develop a recognition of patterns as rapidly as you can. You get more and more accustomed to certain patterns. So knowing that major scale pattern, once you've got that fixed in your mind, that's like a standard for you, then you can recognize deviations from that pattern and classify them. So let's see, when I build a chord from a major scale, let's say C major, C, the E, and the G, that's the first, third, and fifth notes of the C major scale. That gives me the C major triad or chord, right? Now, if I want it to be a minor chord, I take the third and I lower the third a half step. Now I've got a minor triad, right? What if I want it to be a diminished triad? How would I go about doing that? That's going to be tricky for me to figure out here, how I'm going to play that on the guitar. I might have to alter the tone of it a little bit. Yeah, gotta go like that. Stretch my hand all the way across. So I've lowered the first. No, I've not lowered the first. First is the same. The third is lowered a half step, and the fifth is lowered a half step. Bluebirds of happiness, yes. Man, I do love that. Thanks for drawing my attention to that. So that was a diminished triad. It has a darker kind of tone. Now, what if I wanted to do an augmented triad? That's kind of fun. That's questioning kind of feel to it, right? But all I did was take the first, third, and fifth notes of the C major scale, and I made changes to them, and I just had 4 different types of chords from that. Regular scale degrees, or notes from the scale. C, E, and G, first, third, and fifth of the major scale. Minor triad. First, lowered third, or flat third as we often call it. First, flat third, fifth. Diminished. diminished triad. First, flat third, and flat fifth. First, flat third, and flat fifth. Right? Augmented. First, third, and raised fifth or sharp fifth. Right? Totally different sound. And then you have two others which are favorites of mine. And they're not really altering, but they're just choosing different scale degrees. So we have what we call the suspended triads, right? So that's where I choose the first, fourth, and fifth. Right? Yeah, I don't have a Japanese triad. That's awesome. Oh my goodness. And now they probably have people monitoring this stream, and thanks a lot. Got a Japanese fatwa on my head, if that's a thing. I pray and hope not, because that would be not fun. Let's see here. So that was first, fourth, and fifth, or excuse me, fifth. C, F, G, or I could go C, D, G. That would be first, second, and fifth. That's a suspended 2 triad. So you can hear the difference between those. That's the major triad right back there. They have this thing, this kind of quality about them, the suspended triads, that kind of gravitates back toward the major triad. So you can play around with these things and create some really, really beautiful things once you understand the language of music. Knowing your major scale, pardon me, my eyes got some stuff in it. Knowing your major scale can open up so many doors for you. When you can speak the language of music and you start there in that simple major scale pattern, everything devolves from that. And I learned that method from Harold Green. Again, a great teacher to me, great mentor. He's got several books, and one of them, I'm just going to plug it. I'm just mention it. You know, I don't have a link for it or anything on my description, but feel free to check out Harold and his production company, Deep Roots Productions. This is his second volume of Guitar Method. This is Harold. This is my guy. He's super cool dude. Super cool dude, and he taught me a lot of principles about guitar, a lot of principles about drumming and music. But especially about theory. Like some of his prep that he gave me for theory before going into getting my associate's degree in music at Illinois Central College was massively, massively valuable. And that's kind of what I'm sharing with you. That's the method he taught me, was build everything off of the major scale, right? There are other methods. There are other ways to do it. They taught me totally different in college. They have a method they call stacking thirds, right? Know your major scale pattern, and then know your key signatures, right? But then stack thirds, right? And a third is like the interval between the first and the third scale degrees of a major scale, right? Or the distance between the third and the fifth. That's a type of third. The distance between the fifth and the seventh is another type of third. So you're basically stacking third intervals. And that's a different way of building chords or thinking about those kinds of things. But I often say, you know, what Harold taught me was a simpler way to conceptualize it, and then I can learn those other patterns once I have that basis from which to learn. It's really easy to learn the whole step, half step pattern, know your major scales, right, and build off of there. And once you've done that, now you can have a mastery over it relatively quickly. Like one of the exercises I do with my students is I have them write out their 15 major scales. I get them to learn them, and then I say, okay, we're going to play a game. We're going to test how long it takes you to write them out one time. Because what I do is I'll end up having them over the course of a week write their major scale out using the whole step, half step formula 50 times. So that's like 7 or 8 times a day. You write out your 15 basic major scales. C, C sharp, D flat, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G flat, G, A flat, A, B flat, B, and C flat. Those 15, right? I usually go in that order because it helps you see it in an alphabetical fashion, but starting from C, because C is the God key, right? So once you have that basis, right? Once you have that framework, you can build chords almost instantly, because you know the formula for a major triad is the first, third, and fifth scale degrees of any major scale. If you want to make a 7 chord that's real pretty, have a 7th from the scale added to the chord, and there's a handful of those as well. But it takes you moments to figure that out, right? To yank those out of your brain if you know your major scales. So I have them know those extremely well. And we'll play a game where we'll say, how fast can you do this? How fast can you write your 15 major scales out? Just letter names, right? And when I first did it, it took me well over 9 minutes, and I still wasn't done yet. I can now do it in about 2:30, 2 minutes 30 seconds. That's about the fastest I've done. I think I got a little under that, maybe 2:23 one time, but I think it's one time I've ever done it that fast. For example, my mentor, Mr. Green, he can speak just the 7 scale degrees, and doesn't do the enharmonics, right? He doesn't do the 3 scales, which would be like, he'll only do, say, D flat and not C sharp. He will do, how would it be? F flat and not G flat and not F sharp, right? Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Mama Bear. I love to try and expound on these things in a way that makes sense to people. So yeah, those 3 that are the enharmonic. Dude, Steve, thank you. The C sharp and the D flat, he'll just say D flat because it's the same notes as C sharp, right? And then F sharp and G flat, he'll just say G flat and not the F sharp because you have an F scale already in there, you know, the F natural. Of course, you already have a G major, right, as well. But then he can also just say, how would I put it? He'll say B flat major and not C flat. He won't bother with the C flat because they're the same. Or not, B major and C flat major, excuse me. B major and C flat major, the same notes, but named differently. So, yeah, there's no need to include those when you're trying to do a recitation of the 12 basic major scale patterns, right? And he'll go through those 12, right? Like C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and onward. He'll get it all done, all 12 of them done in under 30 seconds. I've watched him do it. It's mind-blowing. I can't do that in under 30. I tell you what, whoever's got a timer handy, right? I'll try to do 12, and I guarantee you they'll be accurate. And we can double check. You can check me on the video if I was inaccurate later. But somebody get a stopwatch out, and the second I hear that you've got it out, just type a message that you've got it primed up, ready to go, and then I will say go, and you hit begin on your stopwatch, and we'll see how fast it went, right? I'll bring my hand up and I'll lay it down and we'll start. You got it, Kikia? Kiki's gonna time me? Okay, here's the 12 spoken, right? And I'm not getting 30, but I'll shoot close to that, right? Ready? Go. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. C, D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat, C. D, E, F, G, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. E flat, F, G, A, B flat, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, and then there's E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp. Then there's F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E. Then there's G flat, A flat, B flat, C flat, D flat, E flat, F. And then there's G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. Then there's A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F, G. Then there's A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp. And then there's B flat, A, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A. And then there's B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp. Done. That was probably like 45, 50 seconds. So I stuttered on it. I've not tried to do it spoken. That's one of the first times I've tried it. 59, 16, yeah, I'm way behind on that. Because I don't usually do the 12. Like if I were gonna do it, I'd probably do the 15 and I'd say it all out. That'd probably take me about the same amount of time if I just streamed through it. Still under a minute. Yes, you're right. I should be glad about that. That's not half bad. But I can recall, the point about that is that I can recall those rather quickly, right? I've got those notes in mind. So if I want to build a chord, like say, Yeah, accessing knowledge base. That's right. And you could say if I was trying to tell you a story about something, I could probably be lying because I'm creating, right? That's one of those FBI techniques for interrogation, like telling whether someone's telling the truth or not. But no, I'm telling you the truth. I'm not creating scales for you. Yes. What is it? So it's worthwhile developing some capability of pattern recognition, and that's one of my favorite areas to do it because I use it for lots of cool stuff, especially expressing ideas that are within me. Sometimes music is a better vehicle to do that. Yay, body language. You guys are cracking me up. So, yeah, I said today was you decide, and I've spent all this time talking about major scales. Somebody throw a topic at me. We've got about 15 minutes before I'm going to call it. We'll go for an hour. Why not? That's been fun. And I've got a poll question that was going to be put up at some point in the future. Feel free to actually leave comments on videos once the streams are over, what you prefer. And these little cards should come up in videos as time goes on as to, polls, things I'd like to ask you guys about. Do you like shorter, maybe half-hour stream, or do you like the full-hour kind of stream? So I started out about 47 minutes, and then I quickly went to an hour yesterday. What do you think? Do you like that? With maybe a couple short videos that I pop in there, here and there? Feel free to throw your comments after or now, whenever, and I'll catch it. I'll find out. But aside from that, somebody throw a topic at me. I want to know what y'all want to talk about. Something that's really on somebody's mind. The first topic, well, I shouldn't say that. That's dangerous. Let's see the first 5. And let me see if I can pick something from the first 5 that I see come up here. There's only 8 of you in here, so in back. There's a topic. In. So you can say the chords in the time it takes me to solve a Rubik's Cube. That's impressive. That's pretty good. I cannot solve a Rubik's Cube in under a minute. I am not what is it? Pursuit of Happiness guy. That's impressive. I was never able to do those well. I could be if I probably sat and learned how to do it, but maybe not. Yeah, there's probably some algorithms there that make it simpler. I've seen a couple of videos on people who figured out, like, oh, there's this mathematical process to figure it out real quick. Solve top to bottom, yeah. That makes sense. I'd love to talk about Rubik's Cubes. I'm not as schooled on them. You're listening from shower. That's hilarious. I can't say I haven't done the same with some of you guys in Hagon. Pick a color and make it your top. The next time I have a Rubik's Cube, because I think we do have one downstairs, I will give that a try. And I'll let you know how it turned out. It might be a few days from now. We've got a busy week. Family's going to go visit Pender. Yeah, that's our whole reason for going on vacation, is to go visit Pender. World War I, Germany. Man, I could talk a little bit about that. That's an interesting thought. And I kind of mentioned some of my family history and how that's connected to that. The reason that my that my family was here was because of the state of the German government in the late 1800s. You're okay, Dom. I don't hold it against you. You should be. You're doing something productive. You were a little... My daughter has done that more than once. She is similar to you in that way, Bisky. That's so funny. Oh, Fred, you're gonna be with Pender? That's awesome, man. Are you gonna be around when he's interviewing Colonel Grossman? Because that's gonna be an amazing interview. That's gonna be so cool. Lieutenant Colonel David Grossman retired. That man is probably one of the most incredible authors I've ever seen, and incredible speakers. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for solving a Rubik's Cube with the stickers where they belong. Lord Jesus, it's a fire. That's good, Fred. That's excellent, man. Yeah, it's gonna be a blast, because he talks in the course that I saw. It was the Bulletproof Mind course. It was like an 8-hour thing, maybe 6, you know, because there were breaks in there. But I mean, we went on for the full length of a day talking about stress inoculation and how that is massively important for people in first responder or military capacities where they're going to be in combat situations. If you recognize that certain situations are going to raise your physical stress level, and you can program yourself to take certain steps to intentionally de-escalate your stress level, you're going to function so much better in that situation. As an example, well, I should actually explain that a little bit. When you're under stress, your body has a defense mechanism to draw blood in from the extremities, right? To draw blood in from the forward parts of the brain, draw it back to the midbrain, more specifically, right? But it wants to get blood to the vital organs because you get that flight or fight response. You've got to be ready for action. You've got to be ready to do what you're going to do. So blood flow is limited to those areas. So if you have less blood flowing to the prefrontal cortex of the brain, you're not going to think as clearly. You're not going to be able to do the higher reasoning things that are all stored in here, and you're going to go to your programmed training and instinct that are in your midbrain area, right? That's what's going to come out of you more often than not. So it's good to have good training, especially for first responders. That's why they tend to do that type of stuff so often, to ingrain that type of stuff in there, so when they're in a high stress situation, they don't have to think, they just do. But you want to be able to think. You want to be able to not just do, because you need to make wise decisions, to be, like they would say, cool under fire is one of the old phrases. So if you are practicing techniques to inoculate yourself to stress, right? There are some officers in different police units that have been trained like this. Colonel Grossman talked about this exact thing. He'd say we train officers to, when they touch their light before they're about to engage in a chase, we teach them stop and take at least 3 or 4 deep breaths in, right? To increase your oxygen flow, to be able to think, to make sure that you have blood flow still going to your brain, and intentionally lowering your stress level before you engage in that so you can think, right? So before they touch that siren and turn it on, they grab it, and the instinct is that individual's not going to get that much further away in those few seconds. Exactly. You have to decompress. You have to prepare yourself in the best way possible. You're going to be so much more effective when you do that. I've been in classes where they've shown us pictures of people, police officers or other firemen, first responders, that were there at 9/11 on the day when they were evacuating people from the towers in New York. And they show pictures of an officer who was under such high stress, and he was in that just training mode. He was just operating off midbrain stuff, off instinct, doing his job, saving people, getting as many people out. He ended up dying later, I think because the towers had collapsed, but they were suggesting that from people that had spoken with him and recognized certain features that were going on within him, he would have died anyway, because he was stayed in the red zone of high stress level for so long, it toxicified his body. He would not have survived that event, having stayed in that level of stress that long. Yeah, amen. Boy, I still remember exactly where I was when that happened. When I watched the towers fall live, and I was glued to the television that whole day. And it was only a few months later that I actually joined the Army. But it wasn't necessarily because of that. In fact, that made the whole prospect a lot more frightening. If you were 6, good night. So that was, you're in your early 20s now. Okay. Man, it was that long ago, too. That's wild to think about. It's 2018, so yeah, that was, wow. Yeah. Oh, good night. Man, I feel old. 35. Yeah, 01. No, September 11th, 2001. Yeah, just stopped me for a minute there, and I started thinking about that. Wow, it's been that long. I was how old was I in 01? I was 18 at that time. So, yeah. I could see the smoke while I was working. I was detained at an intersection. You were in downtown then. Wow. Yeah, that must have been an unbelievable experience. just to think about the people that have been through that and that were able to do their job in the midst of that level of stress, not knowing what else was coming, not knowing what else was happening. I don't think I've ever been in anything even remotely that intense. Been in a few firefights that have gone on. I never had to shoot back, thank God. But yeah, I've had some rocket attacks that have happened when I was out. Had to hunker in a bunker, you know, until it was done. But yeah, rockets went off 50 to 75 meters behind where I was at, you know, blowing up and things like that. So that you kind of know, okay, this is only going to last so long because they only have so much ammo. They can't do too much damage, but a considerable amount. But yeah, the 9/11 planes crashing. Working for the police department anyway. That's excellent, man. Yeah, just thinking about all that. You're going to get so much out of that seminar with Colonel Grossman. Some books on combat and on killing were two of his bigger ones. He's also got a number of fictional books that are related to some of the concepts he teaches. A lot of different materials that he's developed. Yeah, definitely check out Lieutenant Colonel David Grossman. Very funny guy. Sheepdog. That's right. Some people are sheep. Some are sheepdogs. Some are wolves. Wolves want to eat the sheep. Sheepdog. Sheepdog got to take care of the sheep. Sheep are dumb. But sheepdog love the sheep. Even though sheep are dumb. Yeah, you don't want to be too much of a sheep. Every day it's worthwhile. That's a good sum up of a lot of things. I think even Dr. Peterson talks about it. It's like spend your time every day becoming less of a sheep, right? Find ways to be less of a sheep and be more of a sheepdog, because the more sheepdogs we have, the more we can stand. Those of us that are still sheep will be able to stand in the midst of chaos and tragedy. So yeah, we need more people to improve themselves mentally, physically, spiritually, and relationally, so that they can be prepared to be more sheepdog-like. Any dogs back there? Dogs. I can't reach that window. There is a dog. Gerby. There's Gerby. She actually is a Shetland sheepdog mix, which is kind of funny. Gita, what are you doing? Dogs. You can come say hi to the stream? They love dogs. That always gets me more likes, right? Hey, Chonk. You can see Chonk. I want to be on my dad's live stream, and I am not Hoppers. I am not Hopper. I want that to be clear. That is not what I'm saying. Not too many sheepdogs. I will not have job security. I agree. And I don't think that that's a concern. There's going to be enough of a tendency for people to stay sheeple. You know, that's just the one of those facts of life. Both happily and sadly. Odd contradiction there. What other things somebody want to talk about? We've talked about guitar stuff. We've talked about major scales. Yeah. I want to see Babe the Pig at the sheepdog trials. That'd be good. No, I did see some of that actually. It's incredible what they train their dogs to do. Just unbelievable. I'm not up and up on it, so I don't have a lot to say about it. Ooh, Scottish Festival. Did you wear a kilt, Kika? I hope you didn't wear it authentically. I would not wish that on anybody, for me to wear it authentically if I'm there. It's not a good idea. They are smart, it's true. Yeah, no authentic kilt wearing for me, I promise. I'll try to avoid that. No. Would be odd if you get the caber toss going and there's a bit of a breeze and your hands are a little full of a big log. Oh, haggis! Heat! I love the old Robin Williams bit. Was it Robin Williams? No, that wasn't. That was Mike Myers. It's like, I think most Scottish cuisine is based on a dare. How else you get somebody to eat sheep's stomach? uh, your father dared you. That's awesome. I bet it's not terrible, but I probably would still pass. Blood sausage. Ugh. Starting to sound like Klingon foods. I grew up watching Star Trek, and yeah, it makes me think like they have this thing called rocket blood pie. And the Klingon on that Star Trek with the bald captain. I'm saying it in layman's terms for the non-trekkers, because I know who these people are. It's sad. They had the Klingon guy on there, and he was raised by humans, and of course his human parents are Russian, right? From Minsk, or Bobrusk, I think that's where they were from. But that's when we're all down. Yeah, gach, and the pipio's claw, right? Let's make the food sound as disturbing as possible. Haggis sounds like a Klingon food to me. Haggis! Oh my goodness. You have to have cranial ridges in order to enjoy it properly. Yeah, my kids do play music, Blue Sky. In fact, I was teaching a guitar student. This is an interesting thought. I was teaching a guitar student that well-known nucleons. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Well spoken. I was teaching one of my students that contemporary Christian tune, "Reckless Love." No. And then we showed him a couple different ways to play that. You could do it. What was that? It was E minor, yeah. I'm playing it in G major, the key of G. So playing an E minor chord, which is the 6th chord of the scale, E minor chord, and then a D, which would be the 5 chord, and then it would be the C, go down to the 4 chord, and then the G. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, he chases me down, fights for me, and leaves the 99, and I could earn it. I don't deserve it. I skipped the chord early. Oh, I don't remember all of the words. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. So I was teaching that to a student of mine, working through 2 different methods of playing the chords, the bar chord form and the open chord form. Sometimes the bar chords are a little fuller, right? They've got some more high pitches in them. They're just a little brighter sounding chord. And your open chords are like your campfire chords, you know. Poor chickens, that's it. So I was teaching this. And then on Saturday, I had my kids over. And my son was starting to sing that tune. It was a favorite of his. And so I said, let me get the guitar. And so we sang it as a duet. We were singing it together. And it was like, that was such an awesome moment, my oldest son, to connect with him on something that really... really is special to him, and it was special to me too, because I got to see him just shine in something he's good at. He really enjoys singing, and he's got a lot of natural ability to do it, right? There was a moment where he was coming in just slightly flat on some of the notes, and then we started singing together, and immediately he popped right back into pitch, you know? Like, he has an ear for it. He's still in the development stage, but it's like he can that quickly make the determination. Oh, boom! Just what's the word I'm looking for? Instinctively, popping into the right range there, into that key, and it was just so much fun to watch. It was so cool. Sometimes it's difficult you know, when your kids aren't with you every day, to make sure that you're finding ways to connect with them on stuff, you know, and you try to know them, you try to understand as much about them as you can. You're always looking to help them grow into the best people you can. And when you can find moments where you really connect with them more than just be the dad, I mean, that's a part of it, really. It's an important part. But when you have hours at a time, it's not always easy to develop those. So when we had that was pretty special. I was really thankful for that. And yeah, he's got a great voice. I think he's going to do extremely well. So that was a lot of fun. Couldn't remember my chord all of a sudden. Some country music. I'm gonna not do that. A, I don't know enough of it, chord wise or melody wise, and if I did, I would sound pretty poor. I could pretend. No. Yeah, see, I'd have to work with that for a little bit. I'll learn some old Johnny Cash. How about that? I'll try to figure out like Folsom Prison Blues or something like that. That'd be a good one. But closing thought for the day. Yeah, it is. We're well past that. Thank you for mentioning it. Closing thought for the day. What do you want to do as you move forward in life? How will you go about doing that? How will you go about making the best impact you can? What ways can you organize yourself? Can you set yourself up for success? What way can you organize yourself in the smallest ways, right? For me, learning the major scale pattern and being able to share that with other people, it's an organization of sounds, right? It's organizing a framework from which to make amazing musical ideas. Clean your room up, dang it. Yeah, playing my major scale, learning my major scales, practicing on an instrument. That's a form of cleaning my room, right? That's getting my professional skills in order regularly on a daily basis. And even if you're not a professional even if you're not a pro musician, being able to dig into that a little bit allows you to orient yourself in the world better, because you're organizing your thoughts. You're forcing yourself to have to engage critical thought in the process of learning that pattern and identifying that pattern, identifying it in other areas. Pattern recognition practiced in various areas is going to allow you to practice it in other areas as well. And it's just fun, right? Sometimes going to clean your room is not always fun, though I encourage it. And I say that having some messy areas in my home that are not totally organized. But little by little, I'm getting there, right? I don't just say, oh, forget it, I'm not going to do it. Little by little, I do get there. But yeah, there are times where you're going to want something that not only is constructive, but is also enjoyable and an artistic outlet. Cleaning a room can be an artistic outlet as well. I suspect that the number of people that are going to find it to be as such may not be as numerous as those that might find something like music or painting or other things like that, artistic forms, to be more of an artistic outlet. But I certainly think it's valid as one. Cleaning your room could be one. That said, do something that helps you recognize patterns. Do something that helps you order your mind. Do things that help you communicate with other people better. And pursue worthwhile endeavors. I think that if we're working toward things like that on a daily basis, taking the little steps where we can, and if music can be a part of it, because I sure enjoy having that be a part of it, even if it's just listening to music, critically listen, dig in, try to say, what are they doing there? Even if you don't know, Try to get into it a little bit. Get in, where's the groove on that? Where's the beat on that? Just finding the beat in a piece of music and being able to dance to it or groove to it. That's a task for your brain that makes you think critically a little bit. And it's fun. It's enjoyable. So I encourage you guys to do that. I'm going to share with you guys a really cool piece of music that I liked. It may not be your cup of tea, but I'm going to put it out there in Bearland later. And maybe a few different little pieces that are favorites of mine. And I'll listen to them on a regular basis just because it gets my mind so jazzed, so energized. Like, yes! So great. All right, Bears, I'm going to head out. I have a gig tonight. I'll try to put some, maybe some live stream, or maybe I'll just tape it and put it up later. We'll see. But hopefully get some video of live stream with the Aristocrats swing band over at Miller Park in Bloomington, Illinois tonight. Hope you'll be able to join me. It should be around 7 p.m. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks for listening. I like being able to just work through different thoughts and ideas and have you guys as sounding boards. Share with as many people as you can. I know you already do. Do whatever you can. Encourage your friends and family to share. I'd love to see this grow, to get a bigger family here doing stuff, and it's going to get more structured. We're going to have more things going on, more locations, all kinds of neat things. Love y'all, Bears, and I will see you later. Double peace.